Pike's pushed more and far enough ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Well, good evening, and GT4 action is back here on Wednesday nights on the JPB Broadcasting channel. It's time for the media day for the GT4 Global Challenge. We are at the Temple of Speed, the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and joining me for this first of 11 weeks, yes, 11. We've got 10 rounds to go after this one, and we've got a whole host of fantastic, iconic global circuits that the drivers will be competing around. Dean Biggles joins me. Dean, hello buddy, good to have you back in the box alongside, but also we don't have to worry about championship standings because of the fact...
worry about that car hitting slapping the fence out of the second place.
Yeah, that's one of our new entrants, the number 55 BMW of Alejandro Silva Caride, that just had a big old tank slapper in the BMW M4, but we've got a lot of returnees. We've got a lot of new faces. Now, this circuit is known... It's been around for over a century. It's a great circuit. It's really going to provide a fantastic event tonight. We're coming down to the final throws of the official 2-hour free practice, but Monza, there's nothing quite like it, is there?
It's one of my favorite tracks. It's the one that's been around. If you're old school, welcome everybody joining in the chat. If you are old school like myself and Alex, I mean, we grew up, didn't we, on old school racing games and arcade games more than home PC games, and every single one of them that ever had a motor racing, like Formula One or any kind of, like, you know, motor racing kind of title. Monza was always that track, wasn't it? That's always on the grid. Always that one. That Brands Hatch and had other things, but Monza's, and then I think everybody knows it was, what, 12 turns? 13 turns at most. So, you know it. You just know it. You can drive this track almost blindfolded. That's how it's easy. It's a temple of speed, but it's all about the exit speed, isn't it? Entry speed and exit speed. Because if you get it all wrong, pearl-shaped, then you scrub so much speed going down those long straightaways.
Yeah, have to give a shout out to our good friends over at Sim Stickers as well, who have joined the party. But we have got a tried and tested format, folks, that will be continuing all the way through this race season. Of course, there'll be a 15-minute qualifying coming up very shortly. We'll then have a 5-minute warm-up. Well, they'll have a 15-minute race, so sprint, and that's flat out, folks. And then we will have the top 15 being reversed, so whoever finishes 15th in the sprint race is the pole sitter for race 2. We go back to that traditional 45-minute feature race, 1 mandatory pit stop, which always has kept many of us guessing, including myself and James Parfitt, over the past season that we just had, which is season 3. 50% maximum fuel allowed in the fuel tanks at any one time. And what's more, this is going to be a flat-out race for both parts of it, Dean, and it's something I'm really, really excited about. It's a great circuit. It's a shame it's not on the calendar, but it's a good way to really, for everyone to put the feelers out ahead of what's going to be 10 intense competitive rounds.
It's you could say it's a beginner track, essentially, with not as tricky as the other tracks. You can see you're actually going to catch drivers off, of course. You go, the Lesmos are a nightmare if you get them too quickly, of course. Turn 1, well, not even Formula 1 drivers can do that one half the time, can they?
Marcus Ericsson.
Yeah. I mean, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, everybody has had a tangle in turn 1, and of course these drivers will. The GT4 is a little bit slower than Formula 1 cars, but still as tricky. Weather, of course, is another element. Now, we won't spoil the surprise if there is any changeable element, but at the moment, partly cloudy, good conditions for motor racing. Will they go up onto the banking elevation of the original circuit, remember? The oval.
Yes.
The Parabolica, the whole Parabolica. I don't think they will.
No. But the free practice session has concluded. We're underway with timed qualifying. 15 minutes on the counter as everyone now starts to filter their way down the incredibly lengthy pit lane. Of course, they've got to be very careful of the pit lane exit as well. So quite a few returning people.
Eager.
They are very eager. They are very eager because slipstream is going to be crucial at this 3.6 mile, 5.793 kilometer circuit, opened back on the 3rd of September. It's 1922. Of course, the current IRL, and this is something that I always bring up, but I think it's always good to have a little bit of a correlation with real life racing. In real life, lap record was set last year at the season opener of the GT4 European Series, which is part of the support card for the Fanatec GT World Challenge Endurance Cup, powered by AWS for Europe. It's 155.820, and we're on board with Torbjorn Mele, who returns the 242, running in the Mercedes AMG with Sim Racing Norway, this time partnering up with Gordon Hauger, and we've also got the likes of Kim Andre Bjorklund. So we've also got a wide range of machinery, not as lengthy a list as we had last time out for Season 3, but we've got Mercedes, Porsche, McLaren, BMW, and a couple of Aston Martins to boot. So Torbjorn Mele making his way down into Variante Ascari, the triple apex. You've really got to be very careful and avoid the sausage curbs here, Dean, because they can pitch the car up into the air.
Nothing wrong with the car jumping a little bit. That adds a little bit of element of surprise to it, doesn't it? But we'll see what the 242 Mercedes can do. So really on a grid so far this season, it seems to be the choice, at least for the media day, is more the Porsche, as James would say, the Porsche can do the Porsche things. And then you've got a couple of Beamers, couple of Mercs. Only really two Aston Martins, one McLaren that I can see as well too. And that's pretty much what these drivers are going to be able to use at disposal.
Yeah, very much the case, because we are going to see the first laps of qualifying being completed very shortly in the next couple of minutes. Torbjorn Mele in the Mercedes.
It's not a good place to be doing a qualifying lap of this gaggle of cars at the moment, my friend. Look at that. That's horrible.
No, I completely agree with you on that one, Dean. I mean, it's it's like waiting for something to happen, and invariably down at the Retafilio, the first chicane, something does normally happen, especially when lights go out and you go racing. But a few other drivers new to the championship. Yeti Larson for IGL Coatings and Sandit. I'm not going to try and pronounce the last bit of the team name because that's incredibly lengthy. Graphics Hauler, I think, possibly. I hope I got that right, our Norwegian friends. But Alexander Scarrett in the number 100 is purple. The Norwegian, one of, well, it looks like the Norwegian.
Yeah, he's got clean air. Look at this. Go ahead.
Yes.
Right on board.
Yeah. I'm counting at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have at least nearly 50% of this grid here tonight are Norwegian. So Scandinavia in full effect here in the JPB GT4 Global Challenge. We are going to see a few other new drivers like Marcus Giersdal from Team Vikings, partnered up with Tor Anders Berven in the number 26 BMW. So drivers have had a choice of machinery that they can select for this championship. But again, it's just coming out, seeing these cars accelerate coming out of Parabolica Alboreto, named after the lately departed Michele Alboreto, a former Audi Sport Le Mans prototype driver, and of course raced in Formula 1 with Scuderia Ferrari. Scarrett goes to the top, 157.684. As Miles Owens, another returnee, goes P3. Chris Barnes in the 245. He's gone from the Merc to the Porker this year, or this season, and he's just been in a 158 with 10 minutes to go. Alexander Scarrett leads the way. Barnes, Owens, Ewan Bremer rejoins the championship. Yeti Larson and Stuart Gibbons complete the top 6. Stuart Gibbons has gone back to his trusty BMW M4 in the number 47 from Triple Blade Gamma, half a second off the pole position, but Alexander Scarrett in sector 2 has gone purple. 5 sectors around this 3.6 mile circuit as we're riding on board with Marcus Giersdal from Team Vikings, loving the patriotic red and white there on the bonnet of that Merc.
I was going to say, can you speak any Viking at the moment there? Because there's so many Norwegians in this league. It's crazy. Look at that. Don't get caught off getting a nice tow from the driver up the road there. See what you're going to go into Parabolica, a.k.a. Alboreto, named. And you can see it. Actually, is he braking? I thought you just lift, my friend. Not braking. But anyway, get a good exit.
Yeah, I think it's just... I think the drivers are just waiting for the track to come to them a little bit more. Air temperature 21 degrees Celsius, track temperature nearly 41, as it is a Norwegian lockout in the top 3. Well, that was until Chris Barnes fired back. Geta Larson now goes P2 on a 157.740. Times are changing as well. Alejandro Silva Carrera in the number 55 BMW just goes P9. Rob Williams in the 93 Porsche goes 10th. Vegard Olsen-Lea in the 226 Sim Racing Norway Aston Martin doing a stellar job there. 6.5 tenths off pole and is currently P11. Stuart Rice from Blue Sky Esports dives into the pit lane having set the 13th fastest time. He's again just going very, very... I was going to say that was going very, very... heavy on the curbs as Silva Carrera in the BMW nearly had a moment of his own coming through the Della Roggia chicane.
We still currently at the moment have a good gaggle of cars, about 4 or 5 actually, that have yet to set a lap time there, and I don't think all the drivers have set their competitive lap times completely at the moment, apart from, as you can see, the top 10 within half a second of each other. But they've got to start separating themselves as they are doing on the track, because you can get that toe, that's fantastic. That'll work brilliantly for you. But if anybody makes a mistake and spoils your racing line in through these tricky, of course, curbs and little parts of the track where you have a left and a right, only a few times around here in Monza, and then you're good to go, because you want that straight line toe. But then when you get into those corners, as you can see, tucking in ahead there through Parabolica, and the 245 machine there of Chris Barnes should get a good exit out of here and run his way. If he's going to run his way, you'd run completely as you possibly can close to the pit wall.
Yeah.
It's the shortest path, of course. And then you'll spread your way all the way out to the left-hand side there and get ready. He's going to slow down, actually, and let everybody through there. Here it is, Alexander. We'll actually go to the top of the timesheet. So 57.3.
Yeah, he's improved again as Scarrett in the number 100. Larson and, DCW Racing's Gavin Petty up to P3 in the 132 Mercedes. So the Mercs seem to have a good amount of speed. Right, Ewan Bremer has just gone off on the outskirts of the Rettifilio and has ended up all four wheels on the grass. Gordon Hauger now up to 8th behind Chris Barnes, who's ended up in the pit lane. Barnesy also has won quite a few times in the AM classification and scored quite a few podiums in Season 3. So he always says I'm sweating bullets whenever he's at a post-race interview. But Petty is really hustling this 132 Mercedes from DCW Racing. We have had myself and James have had a chat with the AI Race Summaries contingent, who said that they would love to be a part of this championship again, but they have other engagements for the first few rounds. So
what else could you be doing? This is the best racing league on the planet. Come on. That sounds excuses to me.
Well, I think the thing is that there's always going to be an opportunity for drivers to, compete in this league, and for some people, it is going to be the case where they will decide to move on. But it's a good training program for anybody that wants to get into GT4. So you can head to the Discord for the JPB leagues, and not only just for GT4s, you can also get involved with the NASCAR Tuesdays, Clio Cup Mondays. So there is a lot for the JPB side of things when it comes to the leagues. Good to also see Rachel Hoff back in the mix, and she's gone from Aston Martin to Porsche in the number 44 Blue Sky Esports car. Larson new fastest lap time, no surprise. Kim Andre Bjorklund from Sim Racing Norway goes top of the time sheets, 1 minute 57.134, nearly 2.5 tenths quicker than Alexander Scarrett. Simon Moldeclave in the Sim Racing Norway number 32 Aston Martin goes P9 on a 158.035. But still, with 4.25 minutes still to go here, Dean, anything is up for grabs, including that pole position for the first race.
1 second separating the top 12, which is pretty normalish around here, I'd have to say, in the GT4 cars, GT3 cars and so forth. You get into Formula 1 cars, you get about half a second between the top 10. That's fantastic driving from, remember, this is real sim too, not the F1 racing sim. There's no T-cams here, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. It's real man and woman versus machine. Look at that. That's a way you can exit the second of the Lesmos. As you can see at the moment, the 46 machine is going to go all the way around. That would be kind of silly-ish, of course, the 55 to blocking. So you realise you got a bad exit on that one. And tuck in behind. And there it is. Daniel Ricciardo, I remember, made a fantastic overtake. What was that, a few years now, when Daniel Ricciardo was back in Red Bull, right? Last the late breakers, he used to call him, wasn't it? And he got an overtake into that corner.
Yep. And also secured the last ever victory for McLaren F1 a couple of years ago during his tenure, if I remember correctly. It was a 1-2 with him.
Oh, that's right, because what's his name? The team boss had to get a tattoo, didn't he? He had to get a tattoo.
Yeah, Zach Brown got Zach Brown on one of his shoulders has now got Monza etched into his body for the rest of his days. Yeah. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. Top at the minute. Let's have a look down. Top 20. Nico Lecchio from Lurchus Academy, 1.8 seconds off a pole position. So this is an incredibly close qualifying session. We are down to the last 2 minutes plus change, so around about 2.5 minutes to decide who will be the quickest. But Kim Andre Bjorklund in the number 88, and this man did something that, well, let's take you through. We're going through Curva Grande at the moment on the run down to the Della Roggia chicane at about 130 miles an hour. So Kim will probably be edging on to about 140 plus miles an hour into the braking zone at the 100-meter marker, down to second gear, 50 miles an hour through the complex. And now it's the first of the two Lesmos. So He's waiting, and he's just lifting off. He's dropped down a gear. He's dropped it down to about 80 miles an hour. The car in front, the BMW, has gone off the circuit. And again, through into the second Lesmo. Again, it's dropped down a gear. Just carry the momentum through. Hit the apex nicely. Don't let the car run wide, because otherwise you'll dirty up the left side tyres running through that gravel. And now he's going to get a toe and a half down through Saraglio underneath the bridge. And he's going to be at nearly 140, it was 146 on the indicated speedometer there in miles an hour.
Not bad through a scurry, snap of oversteer.
But Kim-Andre Bjorklund, when he's on his A game, watch out, because this Viking, or this Norwegian, will definitely do a number on everybody else like he did at Twin Ring Motegi. He did the ultimate one-stopper, and he was fuel saving through the first bit of it, fuel saving through the majority of the second half, and everyone was wondering what on earth was going on. Bjorklund now powers out of Alboreto, and it's going to be across the line. Does he improve? He hasn't improved on that lap time because of having to deal his way past back markers or other traffic. Across the line, 157.552, so just over 4/10 off of his best lap. But he's going to have a car coming out of pit lane, and well, Kim-Andre, yeah, he's just done the cut through. He's done the Marcus Ericsson special without losing any wheels on that wagon.
But this is Alexander for P2 at the moment. He needs that little push. I don't know if it compromised him a little bit. 111 fifth gear. Oh no, he's definitely off at the moment. He's
he's nearly doing a Pierre Gasly. Remember when he lost his front wing and went straight on at the Curva Grande and went straight into the barriers? Safety car.
He's yielded this one. I think that's it, really. I don't know if there's anybody else who could bring it to the rest of the crew, because time's over. Yep, it's done.
Yep, that's it. Kim-Andre Bjorklund takes the first ever pole position in the GT4 Global Challenge Season 4, and we are getting gridded up and ready. So here's your grid. Kim-Andre Bjorklund and Alexander Skarret lead an all-Norwegian front row. Tor Anders Bevan and Gavin Petty on row 2. Marcus Giesdahl and Kjetil Larsen, row 3. Ewan Bremer and Gordon Hauger, row 4, with Alejandro Silva Caride and Stuart Gibbons, row 5. Chris Barnes and Simeon Mondeclive on row 6. That's going to take some getting used to, that surname. Might have to ask our Norwegian friends how to pronounce it. Miles Owens and Robert Williams on row 7. Stefan Mellis and Vegard Olsen Lear on row 8. Richard Jones, Stuart Rice, Ika Lecue, Magnus Dyrod ran at the top 20, and it's due to be Daniel Lewis, Rachel Hoff, Torbjorn Mele, and Stuart Pearson rounding out the 24-strong grid. Waiting for Petty and Pearson to grid up, but we will have a short pace lap on the exit of Saraglio down into Variante Ascari. So Gavin Petty is yet to hit the button to get himself on the grid, and when he does, we should be able to get going. And that's going to leave a little bit of a gaping hole at 4th place on the outside of row 2. So it is down to Mr. Petty to move sharpish. Hopefully he hasn't gone for anything. But
interesting when they're starting as well too, because if you look at the track map, nowhere near the start-finish line. So the pace car will lead him into that, as you said. So it'll be all about your key points of exit out of Alboreto or Parabolica. It's going to be the key for these gladiators or Vikings or whatever you call it. The only Brit at the moment surrounded, this poor Gavin here for the DCW racing team. He's got to feel like there's a Norwegian invasion of the United Kingdom right now, and it certainly is for his machine.
Well, it's definitely a Norwegian invasion of the GT4 Global Challenge as the pace car brings us through Ascari. They're going to have to line up into 2x2 Noah's Ark formation ahead of 15 minutes around this iconic circuit, the Temple of Speed, Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, as we kickstart Season 4, the GT4 Global Challenge, with our official media day. And then we'll be heading to the Nürburgring in just 1 week's time. 10 circuits after this to decide who will be top of the pops, king of the hill, queen of the hill, here in the GT4 Global Challenge. Pace car will then bring them round Alboreto, and then it will be time for Bjorklund and Skarret to lead the field. Nice bright wheels there on Skarret's Porsche, I must admit. The Porsche pace car now peeling into the pit lane very shortly. The red lights will ignite on the starting gantry very, very soon indeed. And it's all about the textbook start coming out of this final corner at this 3.6 mile circuit. Pace car in the pits. Everyone's ready. And they are geared up and revved up, ready to go racing here at Monza. It's going to be a slow crawl to the start-finish line.
Green flag, green flag.
As we wait with bated breath. Red lights are on.
Oh my.
And we're underway and racing here at Monza. They are fanning out. They are nearly 4 wide behind the race leader as Kim-Andre Bjorklund leads the field down into the Retifidio. It's going to be very, very crucial to get through this first chicane without causing a drama. Everyone starts a concertinaing up. Bjorklund got the start he wanted. There is a little bit of drama here, there, and everywhere. There is one back. That's Stefan Mellis, I think, has dropped down the back end of the order. The Belgian in the Bounty Hunter Double X Racing. It's Gordon Hauger has got Monteclive just behind. Alexander Scarrett has ended up behind Tor Anders Berven. So the Team Vikings BMW getting through for second place, through into Della Roggia for the first time. Some drivers getting a bit too happy on the curbs and also putting 2 wheels in the air. Some deciding to be a little bit more careful. Gordon Hauger trying to go up the inside of Alain Gross and Caride through into the first of the 2 Lesmos. Has to just to hold back at the minute. But Bjorklund already has got an 0.8 of a second advantage. Berven in second, Scarrett in third, Petty still holding on to fourth. Larson, Giesdahl, Gibbons, Silva, Caride, Hauger and Monteclive rounding out the top 10, covered by about 4.5 seconds. As Berven goes defensive on Scarrett, heading through into Ascari and holds on to second, but he's going to make a mistake. That's Scarrett through round the outside of the final part, but he's going to run a little bit wide. The Porsche gets through for second, and Petty has also made good advantage. So has Tor, and so has, I think possibly, Kjetil Larsen has just got through too.
Good racing between these drivers, taking advantage of early laps and their short little 13 or so and change to go on this one as they make their way about a parabolica. Look at the race leader. Kim is gone. He is absolutely gone. He's like, bring on the next Italian track, or obviously bring on Nuremberg, as you mentioned. At this point, he's got to just continue to do the job that he's doing. 159 actually. He's blitzed that one by 2 seconds a lap. But into turn 1, here we go. The Gladiators, the Vikings, are they going to go side by side through here? Can Gavin slice up this field here? He's back a little bit. There is the 132 machine. He survived through that one there so far. Oh, good work.
Yeah. Marcus Giesdahl got a drive-through penalty. I think he jumped the start on that particular occasion, so one of the Norwegians falling foul of the iRacing server. Gordon Hauger is already up 2 positions, make that 3. He's just literally slingshotted past through Curva Grande on Gavin Petty. Now he's going after Tor Anders Bevan, heading into the Della Roggia chicane. Gordon Hauger was one that we kept an eye on last season. And now this could be the proof in the pudding. He stayed with the tried and tested McLaren 570S GT4 that served him very, very well. And as they say, Dean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Meantime, the lead has just been off ever so slightly. The gap has now gone down to just over 2 seconds. So Scarrett is going to try and close in on Kim-Andre Bjorklund for the race lead. It's Bjorklund, Scarrett, Larson, Bevan, Hauger, Petty. There's Stu Gibbons. He's swarming all over the back of the DCWR Racing Mercedes, heading into Ascari. Caride is also there, trying to make good his intentions, the number 55, and has got Monteclive just behind in the team in the Sim Racing Norway 32 Aston Martin. But with 11 minutes and 15 seconds to go, Kim-Andre Bjorklund already has started pulling away even more of a gap over Alexander Scarrett, with it being a top 5 lockout by the Norwegians. Heavens to Betsy. I thought it was bad enough with the Porsches in Season 3. It's the Norwegians in this Global GT4 Challenge.
It's the Norwegians, of course. Porsche. Well, 2 Porsches there. The Mercedes BMW, the McLaren, solo McLaren there, of Gordon Hage there. And then behind them, there's 2 drivers at the moment. The Battle of the Brits, really. Actually, sorry, my apologies. This is a Portuguese, aka Spanish driver, starting it up the inside. The 51 machine. Can he make it stop? Tap from behind. Got to get the exit on the outside. It's always difficult out of the first turn. It's going to be continuing their battle as they're going to paddle their way, obviously, into the Curva Grande.
Monteclive goes going round the outside of Silva Caride. and has just got through, but he's going to get the inside line for De La Roggia. Gibbons just ahead of the BMW, late on the brakes. Moldeclive puts it through on the inside. Nice move there by the number 32 Aston Martin through De La Roggia. Gets it nice and neatly done, and this means that Ewan Bremer in one of the Sim Race Sweden esports cars, the Academy car. Oh, Silva makes a mistake through the first of the two Lesmos, and now Miles Owens fires it up the inside. He might run a little bit wide here, and he's going to lose out. Chris Barnes is now on the comeback trail. He's going to go. He's gone past Owens around the outside through Seraglio. Is he going to do a number on Silva Caride going through into Ascari? This could be very, very close indeed between the pair. The Porsche is going to go for it. Will Silva make a mistake? He opens up the door just enough as Chris Barnes gets through, and Miles Owens fancies an opportunity in his own right.
It's going to be crazy. Look at this at the moment. There's nowhere to go for the fourth car. There's not enough space. And you got to block. I'd suggest probably the middle at best. But we have a four-way fight into the final corner at the moment with 9 to go. And this gets spicy and dicey, my friend. You wanted motor racing at the birthplace, the Temple of Speed. You've got it. And you got it here right now on press day.
What a move by Richard Jones from SAS Racing. The number 99 did a number on the three of them. And they've got Vegard Olsen Lea from Sim Racing Norway not too far behind them. The closing rate here down into Rettifilio is absolutely mighty as Ewan Bremer goes up the inside through the first part of the Rettifilio on Stuart Gibbons. Miles Owens and Silva Caride go side by side. Caride has a little bit of a tank slap at the right hand side of the back axle, slips out and hits the gravel and puts the Spanish driver on the back foot. But yeah, this is now the case of cry havoc. Let's slip the dogs of war and hold on for the ride.
Oh, battle for P3 emerging into this first Lesmo.
Yeah, Getil Larsen getting through on Tor Anders Bevan. Gordon Hauger's the new fastest lap holder of the race, and he's
there.
No, Gordon Hauger's going to try and do something, but this has also brought back Gavin Petty into the mix. So this is 2x2. Noah's Ark hurrah into Seraglio. Underneath the bridge they're going to go. So we're going to be the bravest. Who's going to have the biggest stones of this quartet heading into Ascari at the moment? Bervin has the advantage. Hauger gets through on Larsen, through for fourth. Petty's just got the ringside seat, waiting, biding his time, not pushing the limits of adhesion or pushing his competitors thereof. Daniel Lewis in the 318 Porsche has ended up in the pit lane. Marcus Giesdahl for Team Vikings looks to have actually sustained damage in this opening race and was in for nearly 2.5 minutes. As that is Moldeclive going through, or trying to go through on Bremer, and Bremer's got some side damage on that Porsche on the left, so Moldeclive gets through, so that's a change for 7th position. But look at this. Slipstreaming ahoy here down the start-finish straight at Monza, coming out of Parabolica Alboreto into the Varianti Rettifilio, and still Tor Anders Berven is holding on to that third place. Gordon Hauger last time was fractionally faster, but not enough to get close to the BMW, the number 26 from Team Vikings up ahead, to get through for P3. But there's still under 6.5 minutes to go for Gordon Hauger to make that happen.
Brilliant racing. These drivers are getting a little taste of what's going to be happening this season. You said long season as well, not as long as Formula 1, but practically as long. We don't get a chance to go back to the replays and see what happened at the start, but well, you don't need to worry about this man leading it way, way, way up the road. Hello, give us a little wiggle on the steering wheel, the 88 machine. Look at that, can't see anybody. Alexander can even see, there he can just see the man that's leading this race. Further back is that field of Gagler cars that we mentioned. There's your Brit at the moment, 2 positions lost, 132 machine hanging on for dear life in P6 to not get this a total domination of Norwegians, because he also has Simon in the 32 machine in the background there, challenged by the Flying Dutchman himself there, Ivan.
Yeah, Ewan Bremer from Sim Race Sweden Esports Academy, battling away with Sim Racing Norway's Simon Moldeclive. So this is Aston Martin versus Porsche. Mondeclive has made up 5 positions from P12. Chris Barnes trying to go on Richard Jones from SAS Racing into Alboreto, and the 245 could make this stick. And Jones runs a little bit wide through Alboreto. This is going to give an opportunity possibly to Miles Owens, but to Chris Barnes loses a little bit of momentum. He's got Owens in the slipstream. Owens could make this 3 wide if he pulls it to the right-hand side. They are nearly exchanging paint like Mansell and Senna in 91. Way back when, that as close as you like it. And Barnsley gets through at the first part of the Rettifiglio. Good work by the 245. Gets a little bit of a tap, but just ahead, Bremer trying to go around the outside through at Curva Grande on Mondeclive. And loses that run of momentum, but can the Porsche have the legs on the Aston Martin into Della Roggia? It just depends on how brave Bremer is on the brakes in that 036 car. Is he going to go for it? He is going to try. And Mondeclive manages to close the door very, very quickly indeed.
Oh, he's lost a little bit of speed coming out of there. Ivan's charging at 1,000,000 miles an hour. This is fantastic racing. Also, action in the background. Remember this, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to get a better camera angle. The chopper camera is just absolutely ridiculously horrible here because of the trees. Cut them down, gentlemen. This is sim racing. We don't need the trees for sim racing. You don't think iRacing's going to listen to me anyway. But anyway, it does look good. Pretty on the pictures, but not pretty for putting the cameras in the right direction. These drivers don't care. They're pointing the cars in the right asphalt direction, hopefully, in 13 turns to the left and to the right.
Yeah, moment there for Bremer. That's allowed Barnes to get through. Oh, and Barnes gets touched and into the barriers goes the 245 on the exit of Ascari. Oh, that's a straightaway return to garage. So Chris Barnes, through the slightest, and I mean this big time, the slightest amount of contact. Bremer went a little bit wide through the second part of Ascari, turned right, and then into Barnes he went. There was plenty of room. I'm not too sure if there may have been a drama for Bremer there because the rapid change of direction. And if he's lost the back end as well, then that's Chris Barnes out of the race. He's already been in the pits for like 35 seconds. Stuart Gibbons, I think, has called time in the triple blade Gamma number 47 BMW. We're riding on board with Lecue from the Lotus Academy in the number 84 BMW, trying to close in on Miles Owens. Loses a little bit of momentum coming out of the Rettifiglio. And Owens again now trying to battle with Vegard Olsen-Lear from Sim Racing Norway. Stu Rice has got past Stuart Pearson. So in the SAS, the second of the SAS racing cars, but there's the first of them. That's Richard Jones. He's up 10 spots from 17th on the grid. Tor Anders Berven now loses with 2 minutes and 10 to go. Third place, courtesy of Gordon Hauger in the Sim Racing Norway number 71 McLaren. Hauger, I think maybe might have an opportunity if he can start closing that 1.5 second gap down to Alexander Scarrett. He might have an opportunity of getting close enough to go for a move. But we ride on board with Kjetil Larsen in the number 46 Mercedes for the IGL Coatings team. Closing in on Tor Anders Berven, and Gordon Hauger is trying to pull this trio along. We've got Gavin Petty from DCW Racing not too far behind, so this is going to be a four-way scrap for what could, well, it's going to be one lap to go as we are 1 minute and 24 remaining. Kim Andre Bjorklund is out of Alboreto already. Oh, moment there for Berven. Richard Jones trying to get through on Ewan Bremer to retake that 7th spot heading into Alboreto. They are side by side, nearly door handle to door handle. The number 036 from Sim Race Sweden Esports Academy, hoping he gets the side draft on the BMW, but don't count out Silva Carride not too far behind them as they go on to the final lap, lap 8 underway, and Kim Andre Bjorklund is nearly 20% of the way through the final lap.
Let's see how they can handle turn 1. It's going to be all about your braking point, your defending as well too, but remember, you got to switch it to the right. You cut them off completely, but you'll compromise your exit speed, which is completely what you're seeing right now. So whether the Dutch driver get it done, you can see a little bit of a tangling happening in the background there. But yes, then you're going to make your way up around Curva Grande and of course into the Les Mo's, where it's all a lot of fun and motor racing. here at the Temple of Speed with 18 seconds and change to go there. Kim Borkland way out in front.
Yes, indeed, he's 3.2 seconds ahead of Alexander Scarrett and is over 50% of the way through the lap. Ewan Bremer still trying to put the brightness on. Richard Jones from SAS Racing in the number 99 BMW as they come through. Lesmo 1 now into Lesmo 2 for the final time. Timer has hit 0, and even though this battle is happening, we will very shortly concentrate on our leader at the moment, the number 88 of Sim Racing Norway's Kim Andre Bjorklund, as they will have already made their way through Ascari. Bremer to the outside of Jones into the first part of the triple apex here at Ascari. Onto the curbs goes Jones and Bremer's through. There's Bjorklund. He's literally bossed it, put it on pole position for the first of 2 races here on the Media Day for the GT4 Global Challenge on the JPB Broadcasting Network. Kim Andre Bjorklund, after 8 laps of the Temple of Speed here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, picks up first blood. There's no points, but it's bragging rights, and he wins by 3.4 seconds ahead of Alexander Scarrett, with Gordon Hauger rounding out the top 3. Tor Anders Berven takes P4 ahead of Kjetil Larsen. So that's Team Vikings leading IGL Coatings across the line. Gavin Petty takes P6. Ewan Bremer takes 7th, as the donuts are being very much obliged by Kim Andre Bjorklund in the 88. The number 55 of Alejandro Silva Caride takes 8th ahead of Vegard Olsen Leah. Richard Jones in 10th. Miles Owens, Ika Lecue, Simon Mulder-Clive, Robert Williams, and our reverse top 15 pole sitter for the feature race will be Torbjorn Mele in the 242, who made up 8 positions to finish 15th. Let's just concentrate on Kim Andre Bjorklund. He's definitely enjoying doing those donuts. He won't have to worry about those tyres for the feature race coming up shortly, but that's a way to celebrate, even on Media Day.
Wow, he's excited, hasn't he? I've never seen that before. Like, he's burning it out like I've seen somebody win a championship. Perhaps he's like, I'm going to win this championship, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. When I win this championship, I'm going to do burnouts better than what I'm doing right now. And
it's like SVG doing his lengthy burnout, didn't he? And he said, "Can I wreck the tyres?" I went, "No." He still went for it. But that is your race 1 winner of the Media Day, Kim Andre Bjorklund from Sim Racing Norway. And some good moves up the order by other drivers, including the likes of Rachel Hoff, Stuart Rice. Rachel Hoff actually started on the penultimate position on the grid. Penultimate row of the grid in 22nd. She finished 16th. Also, Stuart Rice, Stuart Pearson, Stefan Mallis. A little bit of a drama for him, but that concludes our opening race of Media Day here at the Temple of Speed at Monza in Italy. A fantastic circuit to host the Media Day, as myself and Dean were alluding to a little bit earlier. We were hoping it would be on the calendar, but that is effectively the first race. We had wall-to-wall, door-to-door, sidewall to sidewall, rubbing, racing, just great action. And of course, with a feature race, we've got a mandatory pit stop, Dean. The drivers can only fuel up to a maximum of 50% of what the tank capacity is. This is really going to showcase how good some people are and how others might struggle with their strategy.
Are you scrutinizing their gas? Are you going to check their gas tanks? Make sure that they're not overfueling a little bit? No.
I can't.
It's fine. It's unfortunate I can't show those results because as soon as the session ended, because a few drivers took a little bit later to end the session, I couldn't even pull up those results, so I do apologize about that. It's basically skipped it, so you tear the page out, throw it away, and you're on a new one. New one at the moment is the warm-up that they're going to be doing, 5 sessions. I'll tell you what, a bit of a warm-up, my friend. You want a bit of a kick in the butt? Put this on your racing rig, because I tell you what, it make you go faster, especially if you're on those ripple strips. Don't go anywhere.
Well, of course, that just goes to show there's so much that you can get when it comes to your sim rigs, and of course, Buttkicker being one of those companies that really do are one of the bigger players. There's so much that goes on in the sim racing world. It's sometimes, from my perspective as a commentator, it's difficult to keep up with, but it's easy enough to keep up with the racing action, as we are just a couple of minutes away from completing the warm-up here at Monza for the official media day for the JPB GT4 Global Challenge, with myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and my good partner in crime and my colleague in the commentary box, Dean Biggles, taking you through all of the racing action here tonight. So, for those wondering, how does the calendar look for this season? Well, it's a good one, and I'm really, really excited that there are some fantastic tracks that we are going to be visiting. We're going to be heading to the Eifel region next week for the first of 10 rounds, which will be the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. That will be our opening round of the championship. Circuit Zolder will host round 2, originally known as Circuit Terlarmen, based not too far from the home of champions Karting Genk in the Limburg region. That's the 3rd of April. Portimao, the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve, will host round 3 on the 10th of April. And then the 17th of April will host round 4 at the iconic Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardennes Forest. Road Atlanta hits the halfway point of the season at round 5 on the 24th of April, with Hockenheim in the 1st of May hosting round 6. Round 7, we go to the Garden of England, and of course to a favourite of many people's, myself and Biggles included, Brands Hatch GP, round 7 on the 8th of May. 15th of May, we head to Road America, with Oldson Park being the penultimate round of the season, without the Britain's chicane on the 22nd of May. And then the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone, the full Grand Prix layout will be the final round out of 10 on the 29th of May. So, oh dearie me, that's not exactly what you want to see there. They go, yeah, warm up, it's fine. Yeah, okay, just don't do it in the race. Seaman Moldeclive is the first person to actually put something in the chat. So thank you for not only joining us in the chat, Seaman, but also joining us on the grid for this one. We are expecting a few more drivers to make it to round 1 at the Nürburgring. But that, in my own, I think that's an awesome calendar, wouldn't you say, Biggles?
Absolutely, that's a fantastic calendar of some fantastic racing they're going to get here at the moment there. I see most of the drivers sitting there at the moment. Probably take it, it's more of a driver relief break and things like that. Get up there, stretch your legs there, because you're in for another roller coaster ride. Thank you everybody for tuning in there. Thank you for Simon for out there going, yo, because yo to you, my friend. And yo to everybody else that's going to be excited about this JTB GT4 Championship. As you said, 11 strong race season, if I'm not mistaken, right? This is media day.
Yep, indeed. And it is now time for everyone to start gridding up for the feature race. 45 minutes, 1 mandatory pit stop, 50% fuel. Here's your starting grid. Torbjorn Mele and Rob Williams will be on the front row. Simon Moldeclive and Iko Leque will be on row 2. Miles Owens and Richard Jones, row 3. Vegard Olsen Leah and Alejandro Caride on row 4, with Ewan Bremer and Gavin Petty rounding out the top 10. Kjetil Larsen and Tor Anders Berven will be on row 6, with row 7 completed by Gordon Hauger and Alexander Scarrett. Kim Andre Bjorklund, the sprint race winner here on Media Day, starts 15th, and we'll have Rachel Hoff from Blue Sky Esports alongside. Stuart Rice and Stuart Pearson will be on row 9, and Stefan Mellis and Daniel Lewis will round out the top 20. Completing the grid, it's going to be Chris Barnes, Stuart Gibbons, Magnus Dydod, and Marcus Giesdahl. Looks like 3 of the drivers have not made it to the grid, which are Gibbons, Dydod, and Giesdahl. But the Porsche safety car once again leads them underneath the bridge. 45 minutes, folks, and all I can say is to Simon, no problem. I'm excited for the season ahead. That's what we'd like to hear. That's what we want. We don't want people going, yeah, I'm just going to do the media day and see how it goes. People have come here to compete for pride and for bragging rights, because There's no AMs, there's no pros in this media day. It's everyone all for themselves, and that's one of the things I love about a media day. It gives you a nice little build-up, a little bit of a anticipation of the season ahead.
It's a testing day, really. At the end of the day, almost like Formula 1. You got to get your testing out there, just see what you can do, and prove to the rest of the field you are a contender to be not or either messed with or not messed with. And see how it pans out at the end of the day. Of course, Monza's best attemptable speed to prove that one, my friend, as they get ready to prove themselves for 42 minutes with pit stops to see how they can handle the temple of speed. Over to you.
Right, the Porsche safety car pulls away from the field with Mailer and Williams leading all and sundry behind. It's about the textbook start that we're going to get right here. Right now at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza as we get underway with our feature race here on Media Day for the JPB GT4 Global Challenge. Red lights are on. And everyone now will start to make their presence known as they run down towards the Rettifilo. It's 3 wide at the front of the field. It's 3 wide just behind. And it's Mulder Clive. Oh, we've already had 2 in the barriers. Oh, dearie me, it's caused pinball wizardry at the Rettifilo once again within the first 30 seconds. And there are cars all over the shop. Petty was one of the drivers that ended up going into the left-hand side of the barriers. It was 2 into 1. It didn't quite go. Torbjorn Mele still holding on to the race lead. And Miles Owens has weathered the storm a little bit here. He's managed to spring up from from 5th to 2nd. He's got a bit of damage to the right front of that Porsche. No surprise there that Kim-Andre Bjorklund has already rocketed up the order. So is Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes has made up 16 places as a result of that melee that just happened a few moments ago. So I'm sure we could see a few drivers entering pit lane. Kim-Andre Bjorklund ahead of Barnsley. And then there's a big gap between him and Tor Anders Berven in the number 26 Team Vikings car. Oh, dearie me, it's happened again coming out of the second Lesmo. Oh, dearie me. This is not, well, at least Media Day, they can iron out all the kinks and get all the aggression out of the way, as in the ruthless aggression. But Ewan Bremer nearly making it 3 wide, going into a Ascari as Jones goes round the outside and chops the nose off of Lecue through into a Ascari. Bremer's trying to get through. Pearson's not too far behind. Lewis, Silva Caride, Stefan Mellis, Gordon Hauger and Gavin Petty rounding out the top 17 is again 2 wide going through into Alboreto. I was hoping it was going to be a sensible approach into the Rettifilo. We got absolute carnage instead.
We also have a race for the lead. So you're absolutely correct on that one, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 even drivers going for it into turn 1. 42 minutes of chance to go. Yes, it was to be expected, isn't it? As I said earlier, maybe in the green room, or if anybody heard on the stream, the Formula 1 drivers can't do it in the turn 1. You can't expect non-professional, paid $3 to $4 million a year contracted drivers in iRacing to do it, but they're doing a solid job.
Hang on a second. Ewan Bremer's got he's got no rear wing on that GT4. Miles Owens, actually. So he picked up damage on the front right. Has he got any damage on the side? Looks like a little bit of scuffing on the left rear. Good catch. Yeah, so Owens is between a rock and a hard place because he's got no rear wing. There's no downforce on the back of that Porsche. The rear end's stoved in. And Barnsley goes, right, Miles has got no rear wing. For him, it's no bueno. For me, lovely. I like, and one of the big things, folks, for those uninitiated about GT4 racing, these are production-based sports cars. And also, that rear wing is quite crucial to your downforce on the rear axle, irrespective of the fact that the Porsches are one of the best handling GT4 cars going on the iRacing service. Having no rear wing, Miles Owens has just been passed on the run down to Ascari by Chris Barnes, who has made up, folks, 18 places to P3. Kim-Andre Bjorklund is about 8.5 tenths of a second behind his compatriot in the number 32 Sim Racing Norway Aston Martin, Simeon Mulderclive, and that gap is closing. So Gavin Petty has also been in the pits and has had a fast repair. So I'm going to be interested to see what his strategy will be for the remainder of this race. We've still got 41 minutes to go. We're completing lap 2. Mulder Clive leads from Bjorklund, Barnes, Owens, Sons rear wing, Scarrett and Berven ran out the top 6. Stuart Rice has gone up 10 places in the number 42 Blue Sky Esports Porsche from 17th to 7th. We're running on board with Berven at the moment as he's closing on Alexander Scarrett on the run down to the first chicane at Rettifilio. Nice and neatly done by the two. Yeah, Gavin Petty, his race went from bad to worse to return to garage in a very, very quick turn of events. I think he crawled it back to the pit lane in the end.
Well, return to sender, as Elvis would say. Return to sender. Well, these drivers at the moment aren't returning anything just yet. The battle for the top 3 at the moment. There's Mr. Chris Barnes putting pressure, 18 positions gained at the moment there, and he's got Bjorklund up the road to navigate and deal with as he gets a great exit out of the second Lesmo. And let's see how we can try to get that 245. Actually, there's the second Lesmo, my apologies. You get one of them correct. Plenty of time.
Yeah, moment there for Scarrett coming out of the second Lesmo. The back end of the Porsche was all over the shop. He nearly got a bit crossed up there, and that's going to allow Berven to close on in. But Barnsley last time around was actually a 10th quicker than Bjorklund in front of him. But Mulder Clive, having that clear air, has been the fastest lap of the race so far. On lap 2, a 1:58.116 as Miles Owens. Yeah, I think he's going to have to exact a fast repair on that Porsche, because if he decides he's just going to be hemorrhaging time. I mean, look at the lap times in comparison with the 3 in front. He's at least, well, he's 2 seconds slower than the leader. He's 1.6 seconds slower than Barnsley, 1.5 seconds slower than Bjorklund. So Owens is fighting a losing battle roundabout now. Chris Barnes puts in the fastest lap of the race, and I'm waiting for Miles Owens to come across the line. 2 seconds slower. He's losing 2 seconds because he's got no rear wing on that 718 Cayman. Torbjorn Mailer, in the meantime, who was the top 15 reverse grid pole sitter, is currently battling away with the likes of Daniel Lewis and Ewan Bremer. Bremer's got through, hanging around the outside, and very, very careful negotiation of the Rettifilio by Torbjorn Mailer, but he still gets a little bit of a hip check by Daniel Lewis. Stefan Mellis has now also made up 7 positions in the number 54 Porsche. So Stefan Mellis up from 19th to 12th. Daniel Lewis up 7 places from 20th to 13th. But Kim Andre Bjorklund is still not faster than Mulder Clive, who is the race leader, as we are halfway through lap number 4.
You called it, my friend. Action absolutely everywhere. Thank you everybody for tuning in at the moment. You can see the top leaders are within a second or so, and then 3-second gap to P4. The action zone right here, but around 9th, 10th, and 11th, and so forth. We do have Stewart starting to really, well, it's Richard Jones at the moment, starting to hound him down. So keep an eye on this battle.
Yeah, that's with Blue Sky Esports.
We're going to go to Barnesy, but Barnesy's going to put big pressure on here. This is a battle for P2.
Bjorklund has now got an Exocet missile locked onto his rear bumper in the form of Chris Barnes, who really got a great slipstream coming out of Ascari and down into Parabolica Alboreto as they come out of the final corner, and the gap between the top 3 is just on a second. Closing speed is going to be quite interesting as Barnes is within 3/10 of Bjorklund. That is now closing as they head down towards Rettifilio. What is Barnsley going to do at this point? He's not going to chance it. He actually brakes a little bit before hitting the brakes completely into the Rettifilio chicane. Wants to get past Kim Andre Bjorklund on track nice and cleanly. Meantime, Alexander Scarrett has closed up to Tor Anders Berven for that 4th place. So BMW plays Porsche, and Alexander Scarrett deciding to go with the brightest, purplest alloy wheels I've ever seen on a GT4 car. But that's one of the good things about liveries. Some going with a bit more discretion, others deciding to go, right, I'm going to make it Larry and in your face. And there you go. That's how you can tell which car Alexander Scarrett is driving. Into the first of the two Lesmos, and it is 8/10 between the top three. 36 minutes still to go. A lot of the drivers needing to make that first pit stop. Of course, with it being a flat-out circuit here, Dean, on some circuits we see them anywhere between sort of 20 to 35 minutes. I would expect it could be anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes for the drivers to decide that's going to be their pit stop window, but it depends on how much fuel they're getting through around this very fast-paced circuit.
You're absolutely right. It's no traffic as well too. This top three are really separating the rest of the pack there. You can see the top three. There you have Mr. Brethren, and he's a little bit down in the background. He's got his own battles to deal with really at the moment, P5. But here they go. No traffic up the road to deal with, so clear skies, clear racetrack, and clear conditions as well. Yeah, well, take it whenever you feel that you like to take it. The man, of course, leading the race is the one that may have to make the decision. Everybody else can follow on the pit road if required.
Yeah, that's very, very true indeed, because the drivers now, again, complete another lap. Lap 6 now underway here at Monza for the media day for the JPB GT4 Global Challenge. And Barnes still keeping with Bjorklund. Oh, dearie me! Moldeclive has just gone, he's just gone left, and he's just literally dropped it. That's not, he might have just had a drama there, I think, possibly going into there. Because he instantly went 90 left after doing the right at the first part of the Rettifilio. So Moldeclive now finds himself in harm's way because Bervin and Scarrett are closing in on his 6 rather rapidly into Della Roggia.
One little mistake is all it took, isn't it, in that first turn, which catches everybody off. The best drivers in the world get caught off and had to go through the runoff zone, as we're going to see a nice little battle in the first Lesmo between the 32 machine and 26. There we go. Running on board right now of Alexander. He's going to seize the opportunity and go on the outside of the second Lesmo. This is bold and brave, but why not give it a shot? He has. Has he held it? Yes.
Yes, he has. That's a great move. Bervin and Scarrett taking complete opportunity.
And the battle for the lead.
Oh, Barnes, he's right with Bjorklund. This is down into Ascari. The gap was nearly 1/10 of a second as they came into the braking zone. Bjorklund seems to be a little bit more confident on the brakes. Barnesy, new machinery for the 245. And he's gunning for a race win. As I said, this is just the media day. There are no points on offer. The points will start coming into fruition as of next week at the first round at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. And then that will be one for everyone to savour and enjoy. And a big thank you to everyone that is watching currently on the JP Broadcasting Network. If you haven't already, like, share and subscribe, and if you haven't done already, hit that notification bell so you're kept up to date and notified when all our programming goes live. We'll take you through the upcoming scheduling over the course of the remainder of this week, but still, Chris Barnes and Kim-Andre Bjorklund are battling away tooth and nail. Kjetil Larsen in the IGL Coatings number 46 Mercedes has just gone quickest of anybody, 1:37.386 to Stuart Rice. And Richard Jones again having a bit of a ding-dong battle, and they've got Lecuri not too far behind them. Torbjorn Mele has pitted. I can't believe I'm saying this. 12.5 minutes into the race, Torbjorn Mele has pitted. Now, I'm not too sure why that's happened, unless he's hit an incident point limit. But Stuart Rice is having to battle away with the Lurkers Academy car. Kjetil Larsen has got passed through on Stuart Pearson for 11th place. Pearson up 6 places from 18th in the second of the 2 SAS Racing BMWs. Larsen now trying to go after Ewan Bremer. Barnes still holding on to the coattails of Kim-Andre Bjorklund. Once again, they head through into Ascari. Barnesy decides to think that discretion is the better part of valour through into Ascari. You can see that he loses a little bit of momentum through the first couple of parts of that, and he runs off track. Does Barnesy gap now 0.5 of a second, but we have seen this before where there is a sort of a pendulum swing effect here, isn't there, Dean, when sometimes the car in front is the guinea pig of how the track is evolving, and then the driver behind can use the driver in front as a bit of a yardstick to see how they get on.
Yeah, but you also don't want to follow the driver completely in the racing line, because what you see before is also synchronized driving. When they make a mistake, one driver makes a mistake, the other doesn't. Further back, another little rampage. He's got to see that battle for P1. I don't think there's going to be an overtake in turn 1. But let's see whether or not Alexander's going to send the 100 machine, 10 positions gain, to make it 11 in the turn 1. No.
Let's see if... No, he's decided against it. Mulder Clive has managed to dust himself off and gather himself up. Meanwhile, Larson looking for a move. Well, he's got through on Bremer. Bremer trying to go through. Pearson's not too far behind. Was a little bit late on the brakes, was Stuart Pearson in the number 23 Porsche. Gordon Hauger, in the meantime, has got past Rachel Hoff for 13th position, but Barnesy has closed that gap a little bit further again. It's now 3.5 tenths of a second coming out of Della Roggia into the first of the two Lesmos, as Barnesy seems to really make some good gains on the apexes, but then certain parts like we saw going through to Ascari last time, as we've hit 15 minutes completed, 30 minutes still to go. Torbjorn Mele has been in the pits for quite a few number of times, it looks like. I think he's been in there for one pit stop, and he was nearly 60 seconds. Oh, Miles Owens is dragging that wounded animal of a Porsche along with no rear wing. Battle for P3 is heated up. Bervin, Scudderton, Mulder Clive coming through Ascari. Next to nothing separates this trio, about half a second. Whereas Chris Barnes has got through on Kim-Andre Bjorklund.
Yes.
Chris Barnes has got through. Kim-Andre Bjorklund might have made... I was going to say, Bjorklund, I think, has had a massive, massive drama, and it's cost him big time. He was 3 tenths ahead at one point. He's now 1.5 seconds behind, so Chris Barnes in clear air can pull a gap. Let's have a look what happens. It was through Ascari, it was through the second part, and Barnesy went, thank you very much, I'll take that. Lovely jubbly.
Well, it takes one little mistake, of course, around here in Italy. It's only a few corners to get it done, but those corners are crucially to get them roll. Don't even stop the motor vehicle. Who was that?
Mulder Clive just went straight on at Rettifilia. Mamma mia! He has got to give that. He's got to give that back. I'm sorry. He like literally straight lined it. I think he might have either. Well, if he's had a brake pedal issue, or he must have completely missed his braking point, because Bervin and Scarrett were literally side by side going into Rettifilio, and yeah, Mulder Clive, he needs to give those two places back. Big time, and he does so. Yeah, and that's the slowdown. That's the slowdown that it's like, gooey, you left hand side. Like, what was that? You know?
I remember in the Formula 1 game. Here we go again. Nice little battle for Brewing up here as well. I remember the Formula 1 game. I would actually, just because I'm slower than everybody, and I'm, mind you, riding on a keyboard, right, driving the keyboard, I would go straight through there and take a penalty. I'd get like a 10-second penalty or whatever that, right? But if you get the speed you get through there, it takes some drivers some time to catch back up again. Of course, obviously, sim racing in a proper sim racing simulation, aka iRacing, I'm not going to allow that to happen that easily. But it is, you know, sometimes you got to find little tactics if you can. If you did have a little problem, didn't look like he was even intentionally looking to hit the brakes on that one. So he gambled, didn't pay off.
Yeah, well, he went through it at about 145 miles an hour. Miles Owens, in the meantime, looks to have repaired that damage. He was in the pit lane for he was in the pit box for nearly 60 seconds. Ewan Bremer was in the pits for 17.5. So there is Miles Owens' car, looking rather resplendent and nagelneu, as the Germans would say. That's shiny and brand new for those wanting to know what nagelneu meant. That is a Germanic term, of course, him driving a Porsche. Richard Jones is now in the pits in the number 99 BMW as well, but Alexander Scarrett still trying to keep Tor Anders Berven very, very honest indeed. Gap is about 6.5 tenths between them. Battle for 6 is still continuing to heat up, as they were just in the back of shot there. Larson, Rice and Lacurie covered by a second. Rachel Hoff, of all people, has just got through on Gordon Hauger for 10th place. Go get him, Rachel. Well done on that. Did a little bit of a nice move on Gordon Hauger. Stefan Mallis, the Bounty Hunter Double X Racing 54 Porsche, is the third member of this party. Daniel Lewis has now stopped on the pit box lines in the pit lane and is taking his mandatory pit stop. So, yeah, 19 minutes. Yeah, a little bit earlier than I would have thought. But, yeah, Daniel Lewis in there for 21 seconds on the markers in the pit box. But, yeah, this is a great little battle we're having here. Porsche versus McLaren versus Porsche. And I'm sure that Gordon Hauger was not expecting a move from Rachel Hoff at any point during this race. And she got through him unless Hauger made a bit of a mistake. And actually Rachel Hoff on the last lap was quicker than Hauger by just over a tenth. So good going, Rachel. Well done.
Blue Sky Esports getting it done there from Rachel. Another battle brewing up at the moment. That's P7 and P8. We're on board right now with, I can't even pronounce his name, so I really cannot. I'll give it to you, the 84 machine there.
Yeah, Ike Curie, I think, is the name. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure that I might be corrected post-race. You know what? So many new different names. The Norwegian ones are a little bit easier in some respects, but we are on board with LeCurie, who is battling away with Stuart Rice, the teammate of Rachel Hoff. So both Blue Sky Esports cars in the top 10. He goes towards the inside, gets the side draft. Alejandro Silva goes into the pit lane in the 55 BMW with just over 20 minutes completed. So I think there's going to be quite a lot of activity in the pit lane very, very shortly. Top 14 yet to go down pit road as we watch with bated breath. Gordon Hauger has lost out to Stefan Mellis of all people. So more changes to boot. So Gordon Hauger having a pretty good sprint race and a feature race. Well, let's see if the Norwegian can do El Grande undercut, so to speak.
Oh. El Grande. Love it. I'm loving everybody enjoying the race at the moment. Race 2, of course, 24 to go. Pit stops inevitable. And unfortunately about 4 cars out of this race currently at the moment, but we still have 20 or so Vikings and Gladiators. There's no Italians in here, so I wouldn't say Gladiators, no. Can you? But definitely Vikings.
No. Yeah, Richard Jones unfortunately looks to have retired from the race on lap 9. He was in the pits for 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Richard Jones was really, really motoring on in race 1. And ended up finishing in 6th place. But yeah, this is a nice little battle. This is for the final position in the top 10. So Rachel Hoff holding on so far as these three are covered by about 7/10 of a second. But Gordon Hauger in that McLaren, he's got actually a little bit of damage to it. In the meantime, Kim-Andre Bjorklund is starting to try and close up on Chris Barnes and went over 0.2 of a second quicker on lap 11 and just put in a 1:57.306, over 0.2 quicker than Chris Barnes. That gap is around about 1.9 seconds at the minute, as you can see that the trio, Gordon Hauger
box
dips, yeah, goes in. Vegard Olsen-Lear also in the pit lane on the beginning of lap 12, so the McLaren and the Aston Martin come in. So this is Torbjorn Mæhle we're going to see here in the 2:42 from Sim Racing Norway.
Straight on, I reckon. Yes. Oh, he slowed down big time. Oh, dangerous.
Yeah, Torbjorn has been he's very much been treading on eggshell. It's like he's been treading on eggshells going through into the Retrovilia, but then gathers himself up for the run through Curva Grande, Della Roggia, the Lesmos, Saraglio. So Gordon Hauger has been in the pits for longer than I would have thought, at 23.6 seconds. Vegard Olsen-Lear in the 2:26 has just dropped behind Alejandro Silva Caride in the number 55 BMW, who's run aboard with Stefan Mellis, who last season was running in the McLaren 570S. Good to see at least one driver has decided to keep with the same car, but a few others have changed. So at the moment it is Porsche from BMW, Porsche, Aston Martin and Mercedes. Those are the 4 respective manufacturers in the top 6, as Stefan Mellis is really closing in on Rachel Hoff for that 10th place. It's getting very, very close between the pair of them. 4/10 separates Hoff from Mellis at the moment, and just up ahead you can see I think, well, that's one of the Porsches in front. That might be, I'm not too sure if that might have been Stuart Pearson in the SAS racing car. But this is still a good battle. 21 minutes to go. Chris Barnes still leading. Top 12 yet to pit so far here, Dean.
There are a few coming in right now. I was going to say, where you're talking about all these cars, where are the Audis? Where are the Fords? And all the other cars, of course, as well. Where's the Andretti racing team? Come on. You want to be a global international racing sport here at the JP GT4 series? Get the other cars involved. And they were going to pit road at the moment. Apologies for the cameras. The cameraman should be fired.
Lecure, Williams, Hoff and Rice are all in. Stuart Rice has pit Rachel Hoff in the pit stop phase. He was in for 21.4 seconds. Ewan Bremer now up to P10. There's a little bit of activity as the drivers come out of pit lane. Rachel Hoff will end up behind her teammate, Stuart Rice. Rob Williams is still on the markers and has just decided to make his way out of pit lane after 21.1 seconds. But there is your race leader, Chris Barnes. Kim-Andre Bjorklund is on a little bit of a tear, but not only him, new fastest lap of the race. Tor Anders Berven in the Team Vikings 26 BMW has just thrown down a marker and was a second quicker than Kim-Andre Bjorklund. 157.149. This is getting very, very racy. These drivers very soon could be running on fumes here, Dean, and it will be a case of who's going to bite the bullet and blink and go into the pit lane first of all. It's going to be interesting to see that play out.
None of them right there, the top three you can see. There's your race leader, Chris. Of course, there's Kim Andre in P2, just on the road. It's the fastest lap right there. Bjorklund, and then we're on board, of course, with Tor Andreas. And there it is. So one car came out of the pit road completely, thankfully, getting out of this fight between the Team Vikings machine right now that we're watching Sim Racing Norway at the moment there, Chris Barnes. So, once again, they are running in vapors. When are they going to go in?
Yeah, so it is going to be a case of seeing who will be trying their best to stay out for as long as humanly possible. And Gavin Petty could profit from this. Stuart Pearson and Stefan Mellis have made up 11 places apiece, but Chris Barnes, who leads, started all the way down in 21st, folks. Get that. 21st to first. That's 20 positions gained. Kim-Andre Bjorklund started 15th, now second. Tor Anders Bevan up from 12th to 3rd. Alexander Scarrett started 14th and now is up to P4. Bjorklund is closing that gap significantly. He was faster in the first sector by over a tenth in comparison with Barnesy. That gap was 1.5. It's now come down to 6 tenths. Bjorklund gets a little bit sloppy going through the first part of Ascari. Lost a lot of momentum. The gap's now back up to a second, and that allows Tor Anders Berven to close on up. The top three covered by just under 2 seconds as we have just over 17.5 minutes to go. Who is going to blink first? Will Barnesy go into pit lane after what will be 14 laps of this 3.6 mile circuit? Barnes now blinks into the pit lane. Bjorklund carries on. But Berven into the pit lane. Scarrett continues onwards. Mulder-Clive, is he going to go into the pit lane? That is probably going to be a no, and he will go up to P3. Larson carries on. Pearson's going to be the next one to cross the stripe very shortly in 7th place. There is the SAS racing car. He decides to dive into pit lane. Stefan Mellis, what's his choice? He goes exit stage right and into the pit lane as well. So that leaves
and everybody else, Gavin, is the remember he was the one that boxed first. So where's Gavin currently on the track right now? Parabolic car.
Yeah, he's currently P9 at the moment. So Berven now exiting the pits. He was in for 18.5 seconds in his pit box. Now will Petty get close to him? That's the key point. Barnes is now on his way to pit exit. Petty is, that timing is probably going to change a little bit in the meantime because Berven will be on colder tyres. Pearson and Mellis are now out. Scarrett and Moldeclive both have a little bit of an off-track excursion. I think it might have been halfway through the lap, so ran about the Lesmos. But Gavin Petty, he's done one pit stop, but obviously he might have put a couple of extra litres of fuel in there if he had the opportunity to do so. Meantime, Gordon Hauger and Rachel Hoff are still battling away over what is now 11th on the road. And Hoff still holds on to it. Rachel doing a stern defence coming out of the Rettifilio and into Curva Grande, but the McLaren looks like it's singing on all cylinders in that 570S. Looks like also Hauger repaired the damage, so could have used his one and only fast repair. That's why he was a little bit longer in the pit lane. He's going to look to the inside of Rachel Hoff into Della Roggia. Is he going to go for the move? He is going to go for the move, and he's going to pit it around the outside of the chicane, and he's got the job done. Great work there by Gordon Hauger, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Rachel Hoff, for so many laps, as the top 3 now pit, the top 4 now in. This is going to put Tor Anders Berven into the race lead, possibly.
Here comes Tor. Yeah.
Yep, he's on his way down to Alboreto. So,
keep an eye on that track map. Keep an eye on that track map. You see the 26th coming around the corner? It's highlighted black right now. But there is our race leaders in there. There is our race leader. There is Borkland. There's Larson.
Okay, Bjorkland's out of the pits.
Yep.
Moldeclive still stationary. Scarrett is now moving. Larson. So where is this going to put Tor Anders Berven? It's going to put him second.
It will.
Right.
Look at that.
Well, would you, Adam and Eva, would you believe that? There we go. Tor Anders Berven has 1.5 seconds between himself and Kim Andre Bjorkland. Now, Chris Barnes, Barnsley was in the pits for 37 seconds.
Ouch.
Oh, dearie me. But he's got an opportunity to get himself into P5.
That's traffic too, isn't it? No,
that's Ewan Bremer. That's Bremer in front of him in the Sim Race Sweden Esports Academy car. So now has an opportunity to go for P5. Meantime, it's getting a bit rough and ready into the Rettifilio. Rachel Hoff has a bit of a tank slapper coming out of the chicane behind Stefan Mellis. And Alejandro Silva Carride is just behind the number 44 from Blue Sky Esports through out of Curva Grande. And it's going to be the run down to the Della Roggia chicane. Will Silva go for the move up the inside? He decides not to go for it. Good work there by Silva. Good sort of peripheral vision to be used there, and just sort of scouted the situation, thought, is it worth it? No, it isn't. Clive has gone off. Rice has had a little bit of an off-track excursion as well, but it will be just for slightly circumventing track limits. But Kim Andre Bjorkland now starting to pull away Tor Anders Berven in the number 26.
Oh, that's not the way you take the corner.
Moldeclive just went, that was just a bit messy. And that was through on Leuker in the BMW. So Ika Leuker from Luchas Academy has a bit of more than rubbing and racing. It was good wiggle there from Moldeclive, who's got Gordon Hauger closing in. Moldeclive just checking to see if the back end of the car's okay. After that, whoopsie daisy, I think is probably the term. Well, that was definitely the case, as Moldeclive's gone off and he's returned to garage. Moldeclive is out of the race in terms of where he was positioned. Stefan Mellis, in the meantime, gets through on Stuart Pearson, and Pearson is also... Pearson's going in again.
Boxing, yep. Box, apparently, for some crazy reason, but it is what it is. He's elected that. Maybe some damage we didn't quite catch, but that is what it is.
Or maybe it's a drive-through. Maybe it's a drive-through.
You can be called correct. Oh, there's a bit of tango in the man there. Alexandra is trying to push Rachel up the road there and say, get on with it. And Rachel saying, well, you know what? It's difficult that turn one, and easy in, easy out.
It was sort of like, it does take two to tango. I was right. Stuart Pearson, that was a straight drive-through for the SAS Racing number 23 Porsche. It demotes him back to 16th. He started 18th on the grid, as here we have You got Olsen Leah battling away with Robert Williams in the number 93 in the Triple P Porsche. Teammate 2, Chris Barnes, who is still trying to give Ewan Bremer something to think about, with just coming up to 11 minutes on the timing to go. We're on lap 17, and Kim-Andre Bjorklund still keeping a gap between himself and Tor Anders Berven, who's got Thor on the sunstrip on his BMW. Oh, bit of a problem there. Gavin Petty,
what happened to Gavin?
Yeah, Gavin. Well, Gavin got he got hit, didn't he? And he's had his second pit stop. So they've just gone through. Oh, Rachel Hoff.
Yes,
Rachel's had a drama. Oh,
it's got to be a slowdown. You wouldn't lift like that, like Rachel wouldn't have lifted like that. So that's a slowdown for sure. And I'll allow this group to go through.
That's a real shame for Rachel on that particular occasion. She's been doing so well in this race, and it just goes to show that sometimes, folks, a race might be going your way or it might not go your way. But in front, we've got right, Stefan Mellis and Alejandro Silva Caride. I think they might have just also both received drive-through penalties. There's a lot of mistakes happening, a lot of off-tracks happening, and also incident points racking up. So yeah, Silva Caride and Mellis will be in for drive-through penalties. Meantime, Williams, Olsen, Leah and Petty battling over 10th place into the Rettifilio chicane. Oh, contact. That was a hip check from Olsen Leah on Williams, and he spins around, and Petty manages to make the best of it. And so does Rachel Hoff, who manages to recover from that slowdown.
He slipped it off to lane through.
Oh, dear.
I think that might have been a my bad, and that's sportsmanship when you see that. When you do have a driver goes, I accidentally tangled with you, and they slow and allow the driver back. That's sportsmanship 101. I love to see that. You've seen that multiple times, my friend, when we've done this.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just it just goes to show that sometimes if you know that you've made a mistake, and the sporting thing to do is to let the other person through, just as if to say, I'm really, really sorry
Max
about what happened
Verstappen would
there.
never do that, but then again, they paid millions of dollars a year. In fact, the teams would never allow them to do that. But in the esports world, that's gentleman behavior. Gentlemen and ladies as well to perform that sort of behavior. I love it. I love it.
Yep, exactly. But we still have 8 minutes and 41 seconds to go. So Vegard Olsen Leah being cheered on by Mordecai, who is actually out of the race on lap 15. Simon Mordecai has decided to call it quits in the feature race on lap 15. We're on lap 19 of this race because Kim-Andre Bjorklund is a country mile ahead of this battle, half a lap to be more precise, and has got a lead over Tor Anders Berven, Alexander Scarrett and Kjetil Larsen. Make it a top 4 for the Norwegians. Ewan Bremer, the Flying Dutchman, in 5th place. He's up a few positions, but Chris Barnes is closing back in on him. Barnesy is not done with the Flying Dutchman quite yet. We've still got 8 minutes to go as they head into Della Roggia. Gap now 4 and a bit tenths of a second. It's a better run coming out of Della Roggia by Barnesy. He's about 2 tenths of a second behind Bremer going into the first of the 2 Lesmos. I think Barnesy might be able to get him through on the exit of Ascari down into Parabolica Alboreto. Into Lesmo 2 they go, both bounding over the curbs, both getting a good run of momentum. Now Barnesy can put the pedal to the metal, the foot to the floor, and into high gear, closing down on the Dutchman in front of him, underneath the bridge, heading into the first part of the triple apex. Here at Variante Ascari, hard on the brakes, turn it in, 3rd gear, 80 miles an hour. Good, cohesive run through from Chris Barnes.
Well, brutally, didn't he? Got an exit speed, look at this. He's singing Italia, Italia, Italia.
Andiamo, let's go, yes. Avanti, avanti. You know, and now the gap is less than 2 tenths. Barnesy sticks his nose out to Bremer to say, Cooey, remember me, and now he's going to try and get the run. Bremer runs a little bit wide through Alboreto. Barnes goes into the wheel tracks of the 036 as we are now on to lap 20 of the race here at Monza for the feature race of the JPB GT4 Global Challenge Media Day. And now Barnesy has got the tow he needs. When will he decide to duck out to the right-hand side? The answer is now into Rettifilio. Later on the brakes goes Barnsley, and he's through. Great move there by the 245 from Triple P Racing. Will he hang on to it? Yes, he does.
Gets the exit speed off on the racing line as well too. Brilliant driving like that. It's not easy to get it done. Will Bremer come back would be the key. Also, a battle further back at the moment, right here, right now, and it's 14:15, but it's media day. We get to show everybody. But we're going to have to go back up there. Bremer's challenging back. He's not happy. He's like, Barnesy, you maybe get me once, but I have 5 minutes, just under shy of 6 minutes to get it done, with a little bit of traffic up the road as well too, my friend.
Yep, this one is not over by a long shot at all. As Chris Barnes in the 245 makes his way up to P5 after an absolutely barnstorming Danny Rick lick the stamp and send it through into the Rettifilio on Ewan Bremer from Simrace Sweden Esports Academy. But Bremer's got the toe through Saraglio. Now underneath the bridge they're going to go, and he's nearly on the back diffuser of Barnesy, heading into Ascari. Who's going to take this cleaner out of these two? Barnes decides to brake at the right point into the approach into Ascari, and it's a little bit neater, a little bit cleaner in comparison with Bremer, who tried to avoid the sausage curbs through the final part of Ascari. But again, that closing rate of speed is again going to show that even if you've made the overtake at Rettifilio, you can still lose it on the next lap. And side by side between Williams and Hoff, and then Olsen Lear, Mellis is in there, Pearson is in there. This is a 5-car squabble, a quintet, battling over what will be effectively 12th position. Olsen Lear towards the outside.
I don't recommend this.
Do not go round the outside. And there's a touch between the pair. They're in the barriers, and Pearson gets collected. Pearson gets collected as a direct result. Olsen Lear, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Vegard, did not really have any business being round the outside of Rachel Hoff, and Rachel Hoff has also picked up damage, but Olsen Lear in the pit lane, front end an absolute write-off.
Oh, that was scripted, but you knew it was going to happen. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, drivers. You can look this back at later and go, why did we attempt this one? This is a scurry. You cannot get that done. I mean, the thing, looking at it from my perspective on that one, Olsen Lear just decided to go around the outside. Okay, fair enough. But get the move done before Ascari, because Rachel had no other alternative. You're going to see it now from the 44 Blue Sky Esports car, bumps over the sausage curbs. So Olsen Lear started a catalyst of a chain reaction, and because of Rachel hitting the sausage curbs, it was all she wrote, and that was it, I'm afraid. But Stefan Mellis going through on Robert Williams at Curva Grande, and will get the inside line for Della Roggia. That's a good amount of moves through by Stefan Mellis. Teed it up nicely, got it round the outside of Curva Grande, set him up nicely for the inside line at Della Roggia, and to be honest with you, Robert Williams didn't want to fight that too much. But we're on board with Gordon Hauger, who's closing in on Stuart Rice and Ika Akue for 7th and 8th and 9th respectively, with 2 3/4 minutes to go. So it is going to be 1 and 1 more. So we're on lap number 22 out of 23 here at Monza for the GT4 Global Challenge Media Day here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza in Italy. And we have had dry conditions all the way through this event, but there is a foreboding warning, drivers, that because we've got the new Tempest racing system, there may be rain on the cards later on between now and the end of May as Hauger goes through. And there's a little bit of a touch between the pair. Hauger gets a slight little front wing check, courtesy of the Kui, who ends up back into 8th place. Meantime, Alexander Scarrett has got through on Tor Anders Berven for 2nd position, but Kim Andre Bjorklund, all I can say is 7.5 seconds up the road, as the next time our race leader comes across the stripe, we will be on to our 23rd and final lap So
of
race
the
leader had a
feature.
moment. Let's have a look. I'm just seeing something in a race control though. The race leader's still winning here, but was this because? No, it looks good. He might have gone straight on here. Yep. That's all. Just to slow down. That's fine. From himself. Here we go. Battle for P2 at the moment for our media day. Bragging rights only. No points at hand. But who wants it? Brooklyn's got it up the road there. 14 positions for the 88. He's got this one in the bag. So don't make any mistakes, of course. He's still getting some fantastic laps. 158. Here we go. But P2 is what's up for grabs, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Cats and dogs tuning in.
Yes. So, final lap underway here at Autodromo Nazionale Monza. Berven looking up the inside, gets through on Scarrett before the first apex, and he straight lines it. Too deep on the brakes. He's got to let Scarrett have that position back. He's decided, he's slowed down. There's a direct correlation. Alexander Scarrett will retake second position, but then they've got it all to do all over again. And at the meantime, Kim-Andre Bjorklund is 40% of the way through this final lap. Lap 23 out of 23 as the timer counts down. 45 minutes ago, we started everything off here at Monza. A couple of dramas in the first lap, but the timer hits 0. And there is your race leader. He's going to do the double again.
But it's still going here. We'll switch back in a second.
Berven had a moment, didn't he?
Yes.
Berven had a big moment. He's lost out P3 to Kjetil Larsen in the Mercedes. But Kim-Andre Bjorklund is just a handful of corners away. He's coming through Ascari now.
We still have other battles here as well too. Bremer, help me go through that one here. Raceland's gone through Ascari. Last chances for these drivers. The camera's on you right now. You won't get another chance, gentlemen, to go into Ascari. Will they get the job done?
Bremer's going to try and chance it up the inside. Bowles gets a little touch and goes straight on. But in the media day for the GT4 Global Challenge here on JP Broadcasting, it's 2 for 2. Kim-Andre Bjorklund fires a warning shot across the bow. He wins the sprint. He wins the feature. It's Norwegian delight. It's the double for Kim-Andre Bjorklund here at Monza, and he wins by 8.2 seconds ahead of Alexander Scarrett. Meantime, look at this battle for P7. Stuart Rice from Blue Sky Esports holding off Sim Racing Norway's Gordon Hauger and Ike Lecui, but Hauger's looking for the move through at the final corner. He's going to try and go through at Alboreto. Will the McLaren have the legs on the Porsche? It's going to be about that apex. It's going to be about that side draft. This could be the opportunity that Stuart Rice needs to get one up on Gordon Hauger. Is it going to happen? Yes, it is by 11 thousandths. 11 thousandths in the battle for 7th position. Wow. My goodness me. And Kim-Andre Bjorklund again celebrating with the donuts at Rettifilio. That is a sign of intent, folks, when a driver wins in such dominant fashion and then proceeds to make donuts like it's nobody's business. Kim-Andre Bjorklund, mark my words, is the odds-on favourite after that display here at Monza.
You better believe it. Absolutely. What a drive. For the Norwegian man, cool, calm, and collective as you're Scandinavians as well too, as we all know from Kimi Räikkönen and so forth. They probably only have about 3 or 4 words to talk to us, wouldn't they? At the end of the day, but yes, it was fun race.
Well, Kim's actually quite. When you get him talking, Kim-Andre is quite talkative.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's very busy enjoying his donuts off of Curva Grande. But to take you through the results, here they are of race 2 of the Media Day live here at Monza. Kim-Andre Bjorklund wins by nearly 8.3 seconds ahead of Alexander Scarrett for IGL Coatings. Kjetil Larsen brings it a 2-3 for the team in the number 46 Mercedes. Team Vikings, represented by Tor Anders Berven, rounds out the top 4 as someone's decided to spoil the party for Kim-Andre Bjorklund's donuts off of Curva Grande in the aftermath. Chris Barnes was leading and ends up 5th, having a great battle with Ewan Bremer from Sim Race Sweden Esports. Academy, Stuart Rice from Blue Sky Esports, who I'm sure we'll have a chat to in a minute. He's waiting in the interview booth at the moment. He finishes P7. Gordon Hauger, Iker Lecurie, Gavin Petty, Alejandro Silva Caride rounds out the top 11. Miles Owens, Rachel Hoff, Stefan Mallis, Torbjorn Mele and Daniel Lewis round out the top 16. Robert Williams, Stuart Pearson and Vegard Olsen Leah. We unfortunately lost those drivers towards the end of the race. Simeon Muldekleive and Richard Jones in 20th and 21st. So I think really what we need to do is I'm going to let's bring in Stuart Rice. Stuart, good evening. How are you, buddy? Welcome back.
I am brilliant. How are you?
All good. New team name, new car choice with yourself and Rachel now piloting the Porsches.
Yes.
Good effort in that one. Finished 17th in the sprint race, which, let's be honest, was a bit of a free-for-all. It became a free-for-all in race 2 with 2 big incidents on lap 1. But you still weathered the storm and managed to fend off an overall winner from last season, Mr. Gordon Hauger, by, get this, 11 thousandths, mate. Well done.
Over now. It's certainly close. No, to be honest, the racing is just. To be fair, I like Monza anyway, so that does help. It's just one of those tracks where it just completely benefits. Well, I think I have more of an aggressive driving style. I don't particularly like trying to be smooth. So that's probably why we switched to the car. I'd say is the best way to explain that. Team-wise is mostly just a break for one season, basically. I myself am taking a break from the other team for one season. Rach is temporarily in this one for this season, and then we'll see where we go after that, basically. But yeah, personally, I prefer the Porsche to that Merc. It's as much as I like the Merc, the Porsche is more predictable, which helps a lot with late moves, heavy braking, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see. We've got a lot of the returnees, of course. We're just going to be waiting until AI race summaries and their lot decide to come back, which Richard assured me of in the post-race interview when we had our slightly shortened championship, because we didn't go ahead with the Red Bull Ring, but we did have a chat with them at Twin Ring Motegi. But yeah, I mean, still a decent effort. I mean, the paces. I mean, Rachel was also battling for a top 10, and she also did a great move on Gordon in her own right. So, as you said, the predictability of the Porsche, that's why it's one of the tried and tested cars here on iRacing as GT4, isn't it?
I would say so, yes. It's just having the confidence over that Merc, because the Merc, the problem with that is if you go into a corner and you brake slightly too hard, it's not very predictable on where the back end will end up, effectively. It's to quote a certain Top Gear thing, you can't trust something that's not necessarily where you last parked it. If it's moving around under braking a lot, then it's not very predictable, and it's very easy to put just a tiny bit too much braking on. And yeah, we tried both for quite a fair few laps. Incidentally, around Zola, because unfortunately we won't be able to do the first race of the season due to being at an event, which is a damn shame, to be honest, because I like the Nürburgring. True. Yeah, I just like how predictable it is. We both made a massive send into the first corner against drivers as well in that race, so it does prove we have a lot more trust in this car than the Mercedes, which I'm very, very happy about.
Awesome. Stuart, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, buddy?
I would honestly say, first of all, Rach, for just genuinely being very good. I'm impressed with how she did in that race as well. Because there was a lot of... she made one mistake towards the end of the race, but still managed to hold it and keep pulling back towards the group again, and got caught up in a small incident at the start as well, I'm pretty certain. So that's one of them. And basically, that's about it.
Awesome. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us, and we're
Hey,
looking forward to
Stuart,
seeing you.
good to hear from you again, my friend. It's been a while since we shared the commentary box, way back in the day there, but it's good to see you racing, my friend. Go ahead.
I very much enjoyed the GT4s. To be fair, it's incredibly competitive. That's something I will say. If this is how the rest of the season is going to go, it's going to be a hell of a watch. That's for certain.
Brilliant. Well, Stuart, thanks for joining us, buddy, and we'll see you and Rachel back for round 2 at Zolder.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Big thank you there to Stuart Rice. Well, that really wraps things up here for the JPB GT4 Global Challenge Media Day here from the virtual recreation of Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Big thank you to Sim Stickers and Blade Designs for their support, and also a big thank you to everyone watching at home. Lots coming up over the next few days. Very shortly, in about the next 10 minutes or so, you'll be able to catch up with the Austrian Grand Prix for Tier 2 of Prospects E-Racing League tonight. Then we've also got the Radical Race Series happening tomorrow. We've also got coming up the 1.2 hours of Sebring for the Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship this coming Friday. And then on Saturday, we've also got the Virtual World Sports Car Championship, 120 minutes of Sebring. We've also got Coffee Cup round 6 at Daytona. We've also got FTR events round 2 at Lebanon and IGP Fun this coming Sunday. So on behalf of Dean Biggles, my name's Alex Goldschmidt, and as I always like to say, race hard, race fair, but if in doubt, always go flat out. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Good night.